KSAW News. I'm Isaac Ochoa, the main anchor. Today we have breaking news. The Declaration of Independence has recently been signed in Pennsylvania. On early Tuesday morning, the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence at a meeting in the Pennsylvania State House. Prior to the meeting, a committee of 5, led by John Adams, had drafted the document for the Continental Congress. The document itself, written by Thomas Jefferson, was a formal explanation for their vote on independence, which had recently come about. These ideas of independence are not new for the colonies, as they have always advocated for freedom and liberty. But where the ideas shall lead, we shall have to wait. The document itself might not be important. However, the idea backing it will last a lifetime and definitely define the world to come. In my personal opinion, I believe that this document will have big effects on the rest of the world. However, we can't be sure, as it's just 13 colonies. What can they do, really? Speaking of revolts, another slightly less important revolt which has recently been going on is the revolution in Haiti, also known as Saint Dominique. Many slaves have fought and are still fighting for freedom as well as independence for the island from the French rule. Many slaves and French colonists have been trying to take control over areas of the nation for years, but none have seemed to work. This was until Toussaint Louverture, the current leader of the revolt, who's been gaining control and support from many slaves. He's recently announced him government general for life. However, we'll have to see if his rule isn't threatened by the French. Before these outbreaks, there was many social problems in the Haitian society, such as skin color and class indifferences. However, these types of actions are still very impactful and will most likely resonate in the Atlantic world. For our next story, we will be traveling to the Far East. There has recently been a major shift in the trading superpowers. First, China held the power due to the fact that there was a great demand for Chinese goods in Europe, such as porcelain and rice. So the import of silver into China has been greatly increasing over the years. To get this high amount of silver wealth back, it has recently been reported that the British East India Company has been selling Indian-grown opium to China. This new influx of the drug led to a majority of Chinese people becoming addicted. Chinese officials were forced to ban the drug and stop all foreign trade. Britain did not take kindly to this, as they forcefully opened trade again, liberated several large ports, and made the Chinese sign the Treaty of Nanking. Stay tuned to find out more about this story. The rapid growth of education inside many Western colonies has been substantial, to say the least. Many European rulers have now allowed natives in education because they believe it their job as the superiors to provide education for them. Although many see this as insulting towards the natives, they like any form of knowledge such as reading and writing. It gives them access to better paying positions and more social mobility. They are starting to embrace the European culture as well, referring to their illiterate neighbors as peasants compared to them. While the natives do feel better for having gained this knowledge, the Europeans still see them as the inferior race. However, this is starting to rub well-educated people the wrong way, but, what are you going to do? Our next story takes place on the prosperous continent of Africa. Europeans are scrambling for Africa in what is being called the scramble for Africa. They're scrambling to imperialize the entire continent. The Europeans are invading with full military force. The reason Europeans want Africa? It is believed to be because of the fact that they're looking for cheap labor and raw materials. And as many people now know, Africa is great when it comes to such things. Another reason is the fact that European powers are looking to expand their territory and gain power to boost national pride. The result of all this is that European powers have now forcibly given themselves access to wealth and control of the African continent. We can only assume that it will drive Europeans to take control of different lands and start wars with other nations. In my personal opinion, I believe that this is a good thing. Like, Africa is just a bunch of savages. Sure, they have some traditions, but they also do a lot of bad stuff, like sacrifice babies and stuff like that. So I feel like that civilizing them will have an overall positive effect on the African continent. To finish off this newscast, we'll be talking about a new, bright idea which has been captivating the American nation as a whole. This invention is just one in the new age we live in today that's being called the Industrial Age. Many of the new inventions today will shape how we live for the rest of our lives. But the idea we're going to talk about today is the light bulb. British scientists have worked and discovered that electric light is possible with an arc lamp. However, they spent many years working around the clock trying to figure out a better way to create it more efficient. But until an American named Thomas Edison, he found out a way to make the light last 1,200 hours using a filament made of bamboo. He's recently patented his new invention, and not only is he improving the light bulb, but he's also creating practical usages for the new light bulb. So we can proudly say that the future is looking pretty bright. I'm Isaac Ochoa from KSAW News, and we'll see you tomorrow.